Franklin Disability Commission for information and support. Just call 508-298-4023. That's 508-298-4023. Serving Franklin and neighboring communities. You're listening to WFPR-LP, Franklin on 102.9 FM. You can listen online at WFPR.FM. Thanks for letting us be a part of your day.
Welcome to the wonderful world of wine. We are your hosts, Mark Lindsay and Kim Simone, exploring all things wine with you. You can find us on Facebook at The Wonderful World of Wine. Hello again, everybody. Hi, Kim. How are you?
I'm great, Mark. How are you?
Time being 7 o'clock, I call the September 28th, 2022 meeting of the Franklin Town Council to order. Please pause for a moment of silence. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please silence your cell phones.
Announcements from the chair. All citizens are now welcome to attend public board and committee meetings in person. Meetings are live streamed by Franklin TV and shown on Comcast Channel 11 and Verizon Channel 29. In an effort to maximize citizen engagement opportunities, citizens will be able to continue to participate remotely via phone, or you may click the Zoom link that is on the posted agenda and on the town's website. Phone number is 929-205-6099, and the Zoom ID is 843-3081-5267, and then you need to hit the pound sign. Once again, the Zoom ID, 843-3081-5267 pound. If residents are just interested in watching the meeting, it will also be live streamed by Franklin TV. Citizens' comments. Citizens are welcome to express their views for up to 3 minutes on a matter that is not on the agenda. The council will not engage in a dialogue or comment on a matter raised during citizens' comments. The town council will give remarks appropriate consideration and may ask the town administrator to review the matter. Is there anyone in council chambers that would like to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? Please, just come forward and just name and address, please.
Okay, Carol O'Neill, 11 Colt Road. Hi, I just wanted to give my comment about the state flag. I wasn't able to make it another time when it's being discussed. I am hoping that we get a new state flag because while it may have been their truth at the time, it's not our truth now. And a flag is something that you want to wave and be proud of. That's a flag. And we're talking about Native peoples who actually, we took our land from them. Hey, let's face it. And I hear that they're not too happy with our flag. That, to me, is enough to change it. All right? It needs to be something that we are proud of. Born and raised in Massachusetts, I'm very proud of this state. I love this state. And I want to continue to be proud of this state. So please consider, historically, we can always keep that part, the museum in Boston. We can, keep it for historical purposes. We always should. But we need to have something that makes us proud that we can wave in the state of Massachusetts. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in council chambers that would like to speak?
Hi there, Rachel Plukas, 37 Anchorage Road, and I'm going to echo what's said, and I want to let the council know that this subject regarding the changing of the Massachusetts state flag and seal is something that the town of Franklin is in fact talking about. Children, as well as the adults, are reaching out about this, so I'm really, really glad that it is on your minds. I'm not so glad that it's not on the agenda today, because there is really no reason to continue this conversation. There are a number of different reasons why this energy is here and why the Franklin residents are calling for it. So I want to just leave it though with a message that was actually delivered by King Philip, and it puts this in a little more immediate reflection. So this was following a speech that came when the Rhode Islander named John Borden tried to dissuade King Philip from launching a campaign against the New Englanders. It became known as the war. And this is what Philip says. He goes, "The English who came first to this country were but a handful of people, forlorn, poor, and distressed. My father did all in his power to serve them. Others came, their numbers increased. My father's counselors were alarmed. They urged him to destroy the English before they became strong enough to give law to the Indians and take away their country. My father was also the father to the English. He remained their friend. Experience shows that his counselors were right. The English disarmed my people. They tried them by their own laws and assessed damages my people could not pay." And it goes on a little bit, but let's keep what really happened here in mind. I've heard a lot of residents of Franklin talking about how history is being hidden here, and I'd like us to consider that that's what we were just hearing there is the real history, and that's what's currently silenced right now. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in council chambers that would like to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? Okay, is there anyone out in Zoom land that would like to speak on an item not on tonight's agenda? Not seeing anything. Okay, moving on. Approval of minutes. I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes from August 17th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion, additions, deletions? Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'd now entertain a motion to approve the minutes from September 7th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion, additions, deletions? Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Proclamations and recognitions, we have none scheduled this evening. We do have 4 appointments this evening. Our first appointment is to the Agricultural Commission. Daniel Morse, and clerk will read the appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an appointment for the Agricultural Commission for Daniel Morse of 15 Spring Street, Franklin, Massachusetts, 02038. The Agricultural Commission has recommended the appointment of Daniel Morse to serve as an associate member of the Agricultural Commission with a term to expire on June 30th, 2023. This is a motion to ratify the appointment by the Town Administrator of Daniel Morse to serve as an associate member of the Agricultural Commission.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion, Jamie.
Yeah, just through you, Mr. Chair, I think Dan's qualified.
I would
just a
think
hunch.
he is.
But he's here tonight, and we thank him very much for stepping up to the plate and volunteering for us.
Thank you. Councilors, any councilors?
I just don't happen to know Mr. Morris
Yeah,
I think people have information that I don't have. See, on a farm.
He owns Wadsworth Farm.
Well,
He's a
maybe-
graduate of
God.
UMass
Dan's right here.
Stockbridge. He's right over there.
Come up to the.
He's a Stockbridge school grad, so of course Brutus was in favor of this, right? I'm just joking with the Stockbridge stuff, but
Dan, you want to come up and give a little background? Please.
Right on that.
I'm not a very good at public speaking. Anyway,
That's all right, Dan, don't worry. None of us are.
I've been in the ag business for a long time. My family's been here for a long time. I'm part of the agricultural community here and have a farm, and thought I'd volunteer my time and give it a shot. I've never been in any town government or anything like that, and thought it'd be a good idea. So that's about it. So.
Right.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Kobe, anything else?
No, I was reminded that I know the farm well.
Okay, and his grandparents owned Roots Farm, which was right down the street. So, any other questions or comments from council? Okay, all those in favor of appointing Daniel Morse as the associate member to the Agricultural Commission signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome, Dan, and thank you for stepping up. Next appointment is Conservation Commission, Megan Hagen. Clerk will read the appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an appointment for the Conservation Commission for Megan Hagen of 13 Woodhaven Drive, Franklin, Massachusetts, 02038. The Conservation Commission has recommended the appointment of Megan Hagen to serve as a member of the Conservation Commission with a term to expire on June 30th, 2025. This is a motion to ratify the appointment by the Town Administrator of Megan Hagen to serve as a member of the Conservation Commission.
Second. Motion and a second. Discussion. Jamie?
through you, Mr. Chairman. So Megan, this is her first volunteer opportunity in the community. We're very fortunate to have her. She also, too, is very qualified because she's a teacher at the Franklin Children's School. But for all seriousness, she cares very much about protecting the environment and conservation and is looking to give back to the community. So we're lucky to have Megan come forward.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the council?
Thank you, Mr.
Councilor
Chairman.
Cormier Ledger.
Just want to add my enthusiastic support of Meg for this particular position. She's an outstanding person, a wonderful mom, and is often seen at Delcart and other parts of town with her kids enjoying the woods and the trails. So I know that this would be right up her alley and certainly something that she'll do right by us in this town position. So thank you for stepping up, Meg.
Any other questions or comments? Councilor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I didn't get a chance to say thank you to Daniel for stepping up and volunteering for the AgCom, and now Megan for Conservation. I know we've got a couple other individuals as well that have stepped up to fill these appointments. I've said it several times before. I'm going to continue to say it again. This means so much to me that the community and the people step up to fill these vacant volunteer positions, and I want to say from my heart, thank you for stepping up. For some of you, it might seem like a little bit of an odd thing to get into a volunteer government position like this. Have never done it before, but thank you for stepping up and supporting your community in the way that you have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Jones. Any other councilors? With that, I would ask for the appointment of Conservation Commission to Megan Hagen. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Megan, welcome, and thank you for stepping forward. Okay, next appointment, Council on Aging, Kimberly Muchow. Clerk will read the appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an appointment to the Council on Aging for Kimberly Muchow of 4 Briarwood Road, Franklin, Massachusetts, 02038. The Council on Aging has recommended the appointment of Kimberly Muchow to serve as a member on the Council of Aging with a term to expire on June 30th, 2023. Motion to ratify the appointment by the Town Administrator of Kimberly Muchow to serve as a member of the Council on Aging.
Second. Motion and second. Discussion. Jamie?
I hope I don't have to speak on this one. I think we all hopefully know Kim really well. I just happened to look in her application real quick, and she called herself a professional volunteer. I was going to say the same thing. She's incredibly dedicated, and the Council on Aging recommended her appointment.
Thank you, Jamie. Councilor Jones.
Just a quick question about the dates. Mr. Morse and Ms. Muchow have expirations on June 30th, 2023. These one-year terms? What?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Or they're, I believe they're both filling out.
One is a fulfillment.
They're both filling out current terms.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say, that's not even really a one-year term.
Both of them, I believe, through Mr. Chair, had folks that resigned at midterm.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, the vote will come on the appointment of Kimberly Muchow to the Council on Aging. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And our final appointment is to the Finance Committee, and it's Michael Hamilton, and the clerk will read the appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an appointment to the Finance Committee for Michael Hamilton of 8 Churchill Road, Franklin, Massachusetts, 02038. The Finance Committee has recommended the appointment of Michael Hamilton to serve as a member of the Finance Committee with term to expire on June 30th, 2025. This is a motion to ratify the appointment by the Town Administrator, Michael Hamilton, to serve as a member of the Finance Committee.
Second. Motion and a second. Discussion, Jamie.
Through you, Mr. Chair, so we did also bring this appointment through the Finance Committee. Mr. Conley and Ms. Riley have both talked to Mr. Hamilton and endorsed his appointment. As the resume says, he's currently a small business owner and also has an MBA and a finance degree from Fordham. And I know he's looking forward. He's here tonight in case any folks have any questions for him, including you, Mr. Chairman, just in case you have them.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the committee? Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion to appoint Michael Hamilton to the Finance Committee. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Michael, welcome, and again, thank you for stepping forward. Okay, moving on, hearings, none scheduled, license transactions, none scheduled, presentations and discussions, we do not have any this evening. We do have a couple of legislation for actions. The first one is Resolution 22-61, direction for issuance of request for proposals for town property containing the South Franklin Congregational Meeting House located at 762 Washington Street. Clerk will read the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Resolution 22-61. Direction for issuance of request for proposal for town property containing South Franklin Congressional Meeting House located at 762 Washington
Motion
Street.
to waive the reading?
I was enjoying to read this one.
It was about 3 pages
I was
long.
like, wait a minute.
I'm waiting
It's
for
not
somebody to
that
jump in here. We have a motion and a second to waive the reading. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion
No.
carries. One no.
You can read it later.
Move resolution 22-62.
61.
61, I'm sorry.
See, I
Second.
should have read it.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Jamie, you can give us a much easier summary, I'm sure.
So through you, Mr. Chairman, so tonight's action, just to make sure we're very clear about tonight's vote will direct myself and the purchasing agent and the staff the ability to put out the request for proposals. I know we've talked about this for a bunch of months, but I think as I'm sitting here tonight, I just would say that I think the council has talked about this, I think with Councilor Pellegrini and for many years. I'm not so sure, and my predecessor is probably watching at home, never thinking we'd ever be here at this day where an actual RFP would be going out for this property and for the building, and that there are interested parties. I would say that there was the Brian is here tonight, who drafted the RFP with our town attorney. If you have any specific questions, I just want to note in here, the main issue that most of the council and folks were concerned about is a preservation restriction on the facade of the building. That is clearly a condition of this. Perfect timing, Alicia. And then and then as folks can see up here on the map, just so we're clear, there is the section in the back where the dotted lines are that would remain town property for the water pump station that's back there, that has access and will have access off Colt Road. So if you look at where the 752 is, that's the actual church, and then the portion that's above the dotted line that abuts Washington Street will compose the property that's offered out through the RFP. That's it at a very high level. There's some dates in here if you want me, depends on how much detail you guys want me to go into. It's a 17-page RFP. The deadline, I believe, is in November for bids, November 3rd, and there will be an on-site site visit in the middle of October. We've already had 2 site visits and open houses, but in case anybody is interested in putting in a formal bid, they can come to that open house as well. As you can tell, I'm frantically searching for what that date is because I can't remember it. I think it's October 12th, Brian? So October 12th-ish? 19th, oh, October 19th, yep. And then the deadline will be November 3rd.
Thank you, Jamie. I just, for a little more clarity, the square footage of the property that's going to be sold.
28,550.
And just want to make sure that everybody, that does not make it a non-conforming in that particular zone, correct?
I believe that's correct. Brian?
I'll take a look.
The way the RFP is written up is the southern portion, which we would retain, would be retained as a permanent easement. So the lot size would not change. They just couldn't change anything on the bottom side of the property. Okay?
Okay. That answers my question. When I saw the lot cut up, I just wanted to make sure that we weren't making a lot non-conforming, that's all. Okay, questions? Councilor Cormier-Ledger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the town administrator. Jamie, I see that we've got a minimum bid price of $1,000. Can you explain to me the bid deposit price of $25,000? What would that, I know it's going into escrow, but what's that money to be used for?
It wouldn't be used, but it's just to put basically a down payment down to show that they're serious and that there's some sort of collateral in case something didn't work out. I believe it's very similar to a bonding that you would have at a housing project.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from Councilor Hamlin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to thank everyone in the town staff that worked on this because we had a lot of details and a lot of issues that we were really worried about, and I think everything is in there. So that is wonderful. Thank you so much. I have one question about the exterior, like the I can't even think of the word, but
Facade.
The facade, yeah. Is there a way to be a little more detailed about that? To say things like, you know, like, do we want to have the sign always left on the facade of the building to show when it was built and what it was, and just like all that kind of historic things that are in there that are, I don't know if we can like preserve that sign as well. And also, like, are we going to leave the bell there? And and there's, you know, there's questions
Wake up
about
the
that kind of
kids.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I believe some of the details, so just for the public's, for the folks watching or listening at home, there's a couple of restrictions in here. One is deeded to the affordability issue, which was a big priority. And here's the language. The building's historic facade must be maintained. Permanent historic preservation deed restriction to preserve the historic exterior will be required. I think when presumably have any bidders. When the sale transaction goes through, if there are some criteria such as like white paint, we can get into those types of details. I think some of the logic is, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but the more restrictive you make, say, the window gradient or something, or it has to be of this wood, or the bell has to be there, obviously that could hinder the amount of interest that would be there. And so typically what you do is a little bit more open-ended to try to get at least some interested parties to bid, and then when you see those specifics, you work those things out on the sale of the transaction.
Okay, thank you.
Within the parameters of what the vision is for the actual bidder.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. Just questions about kind of the process.
Yep.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All set. Any other, Councilor Pellegrini?
When Habitat for Humanities came forward, what was it that they brought forward? Are they going to be a part of this RFP?
I would hope that they would bid, seeing as how they showed interest, I think, but this is an open bid that anybody can bid on it.
Right.
So it's not a limited bid. I'm hoping that it'd be a buzzkill if by this point, they went through all this work for several months, I think, like other folks did, not just the church that went there, but also, as we talked about at previous meetings, we did have a couple of dozen folks did show up to take a look at the building, to look at it and see what potential was there. But this does not prohibit anybody else from not putting in a bid. Anybody can put in a bid that meets these minimum criteria.
And I see that it's $1,000 for buying the building, and the $25,000 for just to be put in escrow.
Yep.
I read this, but I don't remember seeing anything to say that they had to have it for so long, or can they turn around and sell it right away, or
5 years.
will they be able to sell it?
Through you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I think there might be a couple questions in there, Councilor Plugger,
Yeah,
I'm not
there
sure,
are.
but number one, there's a 5-year, they have to finish things within 5 years and make some sort of progress, because we have had, as you know, with like New Style, we did enter in an RFP and it didn't go forward, and we had to cut that contract. So that will be in there, and I think that might answer your question. I hope.
Well, my second part of the question was, after 5 years then, are they going to be able to turn around and sell it for a profit?
Oh, no, it'll be deeded affordable. It'll be in the deed, just like any of the units that Maxine does
The affordable
downstairs.
housing units?
All those
Yeah.
affordable housing units, it goes
Yeah.
right into the deed on the property, so they can't flip it around and then sell it for market rate
Okay.
and make, $500,000 or whatever. They have to have that, and we did put in the local preference at all of our requests for Franklin residents to have that unit. So I think over long haul, you're hoping that, you're hoping that there is some sort of a rotation to some degree, right? That every, 10, 15 years or whatever families are, this is where you get your leg up, and hopefully this will put a family in a good position to be able to move up in the community or another community, whatever they decide.
Okay, thank you.
All set? Councilor Jones?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick administrative question. In regards to this particular RFP, in regards to this particular property, is in regards to what Councilor Hammond was talking about, is any potential changes that will be offered to the building, who would that negotiation go through? You directly or through us? So in other words, let's say, for instance, Habitat gets it, hypothetically speaking, and they decide to make certain changes. Who makes the ruling on
Yeah.
whether or not certain changes are allowed and certain changes are not allowed?
Right. I think that question is probably best answered after we get bids, to not be presumptuous, but the purchase and sale, and I'm guessing our town attorney is off for religious observance this week, but my educated guess tells me at some point there'll have to be some sort of vote and or signature to actually dispose of the property to whoever the awardee is. And so, Councilor Jones, I think at that time, if there's little details or specifics that need to be worked out, I think we can work those out with the prospective bidder.
Okay,
So that would be you guys.
Yeah.
That is.
That was the ultimate
You have
answer you
That's
were
what I was-
looking for.
You have control.
I simply, what I was getting at is, was this something that was gonna now fall under yourself and the building department to handle, is what my general question is. Thank you. Okay.
Oh.
Councilor Frangillo.
Yeah, just a quick one. Why single family specifically? Like, why do we feel the need to add that piece, and then what does it necessarily refer to?
Good question. So one, it'll make it a conforming lot because that's the zoning for the area, which is probably one of the most important factors in determining that. And then, once you turn in, say, a triple decker, you've got 4 times the car, some of those details. So you want to make it that conforming lot that the chair had mentioned earlier. I think the other oddity of why a single family, there were builders that came in to do a tour of the house during the open house. And if you go in, into the church, if you go in, there's a stairwell that goes upstairs, and the ceiling height is an awkward height. It obviously was not built in 2020, where each floor is pretty set, 10 feet, 11 feet. This is like 15 feet and 3/4 or something. Like, it's a very odd height. And so I didn't really meet anybody, and they did meet with the building commissioner at those open houses to get more than one unit in there. Outside of the zoning issue, the building conform itself would make it very difficult to make into a duplex or a triple decker of sorts. You just won't have the space to be able to make more than one unit, especially when you're trying to gear a house towards a family with children. We did discuss with some builders loft ideas and things of that sort, and it just, the building shape is awkward. And the internal ceiling, on the inside of the ceiling, I think there was a hesitancy from anybody that was there to really tinker with that and start bashing it up. And I think there's an intent to keep the inside ceiling in the inside room the way it is, which is really good for historic preservation purposes. So it was just an odd-shaped house, church, and the conforming issue with zoning.
All set?
Yeah.
Any other councilors? Anyone in the audience? Okay, seeing none, the vote will come on the motion to approve Resolution 22-61, a majority votes required. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Town Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I have a couple of items tonight. The first one is a bylaw amendment on here, which has no action required tonight. The reason why, the town attorney advised us that in lieu of the vote last week at the EDC on the new parking district, to essentially, this was the path of least resistance to convey to the public that the zoning bylaw 22-880, which was approved at a first reading by the council, we could either bring it back and debate it and keep on going, but he advised under town administrator's report for me to convey that this bylaw will essentially be tabled, because in the bylaw that the EDC is going to bring to the council at their recommendation next week on October 5th, we'll have revised section of that bylaw in the new one that's coming next week. So this essentially clears the table, if you will, clears the deck from an earlier proposal earlier this year. The EDC did vote unanimously on the new parking regulations last week, and so that'll come up on October 5th. So I was asked to do it that way from the town attorney, so I did it. If anybody has any questions, certainly feel free.
Ask the town attorney who's not here this evening.
Do you wonder why he asked me to do this tonight? It's a little joke from Mark. But more importantly, for town administrator's report, municipal aggregation. These words might have been thrown around a little bit. Obviously, most residents in town have heard the news from National Grid and Eversource that they expect a huge electricity rate increase in November. But the good news for Franklin residents is that the 10.5 cent rate that we got through the municipal aggregation program 2 years ago is going to stay in effect for those residents in Franklin that are still in that program. All but I believe 600 properties or 600 residents or so are in that program. So the message to most people in town is for this winter, rest easy. You have a rate that will carry you through the winter months of these price spikes. You will not be subjected to these price spikes. You will still see on your bill the 10.5-cent rate that we negotiated 2 years ago. So don't all jump at joy at once. That's a really great message to everybody out there. Seriously, for those that are really worried about this, and I know many of you have heard it because I've heard it from you and I've heard from a lot of people, I am going to be making a talk on this in a few weeks at the Senior Center. I think you're going to see us do additional outreach to individuals. I know Representative Roy has been talking about this as well to try to make sure people are well educated in the community. If you don't know what to do and you're confused, just go to franklinma.gov or call our office. Alicia, Julie, myself are all well versed in this issue, and we are making and helping every citizen find out whether or not they're enrolled or not enrolled, and we will give you the appropriate information and phone number to get that out. And so please just call our office. There's a link to municipal aggregation right on the homepage. You know, this is really excellent news for the community. I even got an email this week from National Grid, unsolicited, confirming to me, which I already knew, but still to hear it from them, tell us that our citizens are still going to see that 10.5-cent rate, and we are not going to be subjected to these huge price increases, is a huge financial win for every resident in town that's enrolled in that program. I will say that if you are confused and you've seen people come to your doors, many residents have had suppliers come to their doors. They may have signed up for agreements. They may not know. They may not remember. Again, please just call our office. Our staff can help you navigate through all that because we want this to be obviously a warm and safe and affordable winter for everybody in town. So, and then, Mr. Chairman, last bit of news. I had to do it.
I knew you would.
Chris, zoom right in. The DPW is back in action at the Touch a Truck event on October 15th. They're pulling out all the stops. They're going to have the hydrant painting winners. They're going to have some food down there. And everybody and all the kids can hop in the vehicles. So on October 15th from 10 to 2 at the DPW. It's funny that they have a rain date. You figure out if there's one agency that wouldn't have a rain date, it'd be the DPW is prepared for everything. But the rain date will be on the 16th of October, the next day. So hopefully families can show up at that and have a good time. Thank you very much.
Just one more thing you were going to add to your town administrator's report. Corner of Maple and Lincoln, there's a little school there.
They're working on it.
How could I have forgotten?
How could you have forgotten to put that into your report?
You want to know why I forgot? Because Alicia and I went by today.
They're working on it.
Yeah.
They are working on it. The red brick schoolhouse, finally, the renovation of the exterior is getting done. For folks that want to go up and take a peek, you can pull in the parking lot on the Maple Street side. They've already gotten rid of all the paint. Individuals can actually go up and see what real red brick looks like as opposed to the paint. It actually looks great. They're doing a great job. And I just encourage anybody that does walk by or look, all of the wood trim, all of the paint, all the doors, all of that is going to get done as well. The crews are up there. They'll be up there for probably 4 or 5, 6 weeks. I know a lot of people in town are interested to just see what it looks like because this has been a long, long time coming. I apologize for forgetting about that, Mr. Chairman, because I think you might have asked me to put it on. But just really exciting. Really, really exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Councilor Jones had a question.
I do, Mr. Chairman. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe during Robert's rules,
We have to vote to
put the
table
bylaw
that.
amendment 2280. Somebody has to.
We have to vote to table
Yeah,
that.
somebody has to
Yeah,
vote to table
yeah.
it. That's what I was getting
Yeah.
at.
I was gonna do that after we
Okay.
finish here. Because what we voted it the last time
Yes.
Yeah.
to move to a second reading. And before we bring a new one back, we need to table that one. So that, I think that's what Mark was looking for.
Okay.
Councilor DeLorco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jamie, just because a lot of us have been getting calls about the electrical bills, and
Yours is going up.
well, that's fine. They just want to know if they did nothing, they're in the program.
Exactly.
Correct. If they had to call to take it out, right?
Yes.
So a lot of people have been asking me that, so I just want people to know, if you did nothing, you're in the program. So,
If you did nothing, you're paying 10.5 cents a kilowatt.
If you opted out,
yeah.
or you had signed up with a third-party supplier, those agreements will be, they'll be valid. So, there's a very easy website that's dedicated to just Franklin for Colonial Power. There's a dedicated number that people can call. I understand people, Council Governor, probably still want to check, but you were right. If the initial 2 years ago when this started, if nobody did anything and didn't even know,
Right.
most people probably didn't even know what happened.
Exactly.
Right? They just saw a little savings in their bill, right, Councilor Chandler? You know, you are enrolled.
Okay, just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you, Councilor DeLarco. Councilor Pellegrini.
Through the chair, to follow up on Bobby, that was my question that I was going to ask. But now, to follow up on it, can people that opted out for it back then, can they get back into it for that 10.5?
Absolutely.
What they have to do?
Yep, they can.
Oh, I didn't know that. But
They
that's
can
a good
opt,
point.
yeah, so some people may have had like a third-party supplier for a year, and then they went right back to basic rate on National Grid. They have to then opt back into the system. Or if they opted out at one point, which some people did, it was a very low percentage of residents, but it was like 4.5% of residents in town, 4%, it was very low. They would have to then now go back and opt in.
And they go to who?
They can go right to the homepage, franklinma.gov, and it's right at the bottom. You can check it on your phone. Municipal aggregation, for those that don't have the internet or are watching through TV, just call our office, and Alicia and Julie have been we've all been taking the call.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some people may be listening right now, and they can look it up actually on their phone right now.
They can just Google colonialpowergroup.com
Franklin.
/Franklin, and the first thing on the page is just a button that says opt in and opt out. You
Oh,
click
wow.
it, put in your information, and then within 2 months, you'll see your billing switch over.
Good enough.
Awesome.
Do it now, everybody.
Thank you,
To do it
Councilor
now.
Pellegrini.
Actually, you should.
Yeah, that's a good message. No.
It'll
Any-
begin by.
Any other questions or comments from the council?
Yeah, I would just
Councilor Frangillo.
Sure, I would just add to that the urgency of doing it now. The math that I think that over the 6 months, it's the average resident will save like $1,100, like serious money by being in the municipal aggregation program. So if you're in, thank your government. If you're not, come join.
Then thank you, government.
Then thank your government.
Good point.
Thanks, Jamie.
Any other questions or comments for Jamie? Okay, we're going to go back to Bylaw Amendment 22-880, Chapter 170, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 4, Stopping, Standing, and Parking, subsection 170-15, Parking Prohibitions and Limitations, and D, Parking Prohibited, Downtown Parking Map. I would entertain a motion to table this bylaw amendment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, the vote will come on the motion, bylaw amendment. To table, I don't think we need roll call, but if you want to, Glenn hasn't had a chance to talk very much tonight. Let's make it a roll call vote. So, call the roll, clerk.
Tommy Ledger.
Yes.
Sheridan. Yes. Chandler.
Yes.
Frangillo.
Yes.
Pellegrini.
Yes.
Hamblin.
Yes.
Jones, yes. Vice Chair.
Yes.
9-0 tables.
Thank you. And by the way, just so that people understand, at any time on any vote, any counselor can ask for a roll call vote. So,
That's true, per Robert's rules.
per Robert's.
For Robert's rules.
Okay, moving on. Subcommittee reports. Capital, I don't think has met. Budget, I know hasn't met. Economic development, I believe, has.
Yes, thank you,
Councilor
Mr. Chairman.
Hamblin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Actually, we discussed what we just tabled. But before the Economic Development Committee, we had an Economic Development Plus Committee with the Franklin for All Steering Group. And we talked about our project timeline with Brian Taverner. And we'll be probably starting to discuss downtown housing zone density and inclusionary zoning, things like that in about November. But we do have a long list of things to cover. And then we also talked about the downtown parking. I think we came up with a really great plan. People will be really happy about. And so I'm excited that we're going to get to actually see it on at the next meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Hamblin. Any questions of Councilor Hamblin? Gatra? Anything?
We had a
Councilor
meeting.
Frangillo?
Sure. Gatra did meet, advisory board, was mostly about just a reshuffling, meeting everyone. So nothing to report home yet. But they will be coming, so keep an eye out for it. They will be coming to a senior office hours at some point in the near future, perhaps the next one. So just keep your eye out for an announcement of specific GATRA office hours where you can come and talk to GATRA representatives.
Great. Thank you, Councilor Frangillo. Okay, moving on. Future agenda items. Councilor Sheridan.
The state flag.
Okay. Councilor Frangillo.
We talked about the state flag. I'm excited to talk about it with the representatives, and then talk about steps forward from there.
Councilor Hamblin.
Nothing else to add, thank you.
Councilor Cormier-Ledger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know at one of our past meetings, we talked about reviewing zoning density. Is that on a future agenda?
I believe so.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, it's going to be handled at the EDC first.
Then
The EDC goes through all the housing recommendations, and then they'll make a recommendation on density to the full council.
Do you have
I'm
any idea
anticipating
where it
November.
is on their agenda?
Brian and I just talked about that yesterday. We're looking at probably one of the November EDC meetings. If not both, we'll have discussions on it.
I thought so.
Thank you.
Councilor Chandler.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. This isn't an agenda item, but maybe a quick note on the town administrator's report next time on an update on the Beaver Street Interceptor. I mean, it's a $35 million project. I don't know if it's gone out to bid. Just a quick update, please.
Sure, you bet.
Thank you.
By now, probably 35 plus. Just saying. Councilor Pellegrini.
Nothing at this time.
Councilor Jones. Councilor DeLorco.
Nothing at this time.
Councilor comments. Councilor Cormier-Ledger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to echo my fellow councilors' support for putting the state flag discussion on a town council agenda. Also want to make residents aware, because it's certainly come up on social media quite a bit, about a meeting happening on October 23rd regarding the proposed apartment building at 237 Pleasant Street for St. John's Episcopal Church. That is a community meeting. They're welcoming everyone to come and hear their plans and voice any concerns they might have about the apartments and the sale of that land that the church is proposing. That is at 6:30, and it is at St. John's Episcopal Church in Franklin. There is information on various Franklin social media pages if people are concerned, but also I would tell folks, rather than complaining on social media or contacting us, it really should be directed to the planning board and the folks that are running that meeting to voice your concerns. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Cormier-Ledger. Councilor Chandler.
I'm gonna have nothing tonight. Quiet night.
Quiet night. Councilor Pellegrini.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to say that I'm happy about the brick school and seeing it being done the way that it is, and ask through the chair, do we have the same people that are going to be renting it now? Are they renting it, the robotics group?
Through you, Mr. Yeah, they still have an active lease. It's year to year for, I believe, 5 more years. They have five or six more one-year options.
So
So
are
they are
they
there.
in there now while they're working outside on the building?
They're not.
They're not there? Okay, because that's what someone had said to me. I don't see anyone there. Are they still renting or
Yeah.
opting to use it? So they are, but they're not there because of them working on the building.
Exactly.
We probably gave
It'll
them a
probably
little
be a
rent
couple
relief.
months.
Couple of months anyway. Okay.
They get a good deal already.
Okay, anything else,
No,
Councilor
that's it,
Pellegrini?
really.
Councilor Sheridan.
Nothing this time.
Councilor Frangillo.
See everyone at the Harvest Fest, Saturday, 12 to 5. Always a great time. That's it. Thanks.
Councilor Hamblin.
Oh, we
No,
almost got the
no,
Councilor
no,
Jones
you,
thing.
no, you didn't get, you would never get that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to, I was gonna say the Harvest Fest, see everybody down there, on Saturday, should be really a lot of fun. There's a lot of food this year, a lot of different foods out there, a lot of bands and, fun things for the family to do. And an Oktoberfest, if you like beer. I think most of us probably would like that. The Touch a Truck, the DPW, there's going to be some tractors there this year too, I think. So you could, there should be, the AgCom will have a couple of tractors there. There will be a cleanup at Del Carte on the 22nd of February, and the AgCom will be there with the Conservation Commission as well. So that should be a lot, there'll be some pumpkin things to do there. And I would just like to wish everyone in the path of Hurricane Ian a safe night tonight and the next week. And I think that's all I wrote down, so thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Hamblin. Councilor Jones.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say, is God, send prayers to anyone in the path of this hurricane that's ripping its way through mid-Florida, around the Fort Myers area, and up into Tampa. And I've got family down there, I know some people who do as well too, so hopefully everyone is safe. It's a pretty slow, pretty treacherous hurricane. I know Floridians are used to this kind of weather, but 10 to 12 foot waves doesn't sound very enticing to me, that's for sure. But like it's been said already, I am really, really looking forward to the Harvest Fest this weekend. Unfortunately, I watched the weather. It looks like Ian might be making our way through Saturday afternoon.
Get there early.
Hopefully, knock on wood, Saturday afternoon, great events. There's a rain date, right? Is it Sunday?
It's Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday's gonna be worse, I think, right?
No hurricane date, though.
No hurricane. So, it's gonna be great events. Hopefully everyone comes down. I mean, just the simple fact that we're having, everyone, COVID's passed away. We now have an opportunity for everyone to get together and have another community event, just like we had recently at the Cultural Festival. I'm looking forward to it and seeing everybody come out and join it.
Thank you, Councilor Jones. Councilor DeLarco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm worried about the people down in Florida. I'm actually close to buying a condo down in Naples, but maybe it'll go down after the hurricane, so I'm not gonna put a bid on it yet, so. Let's send the prayers out to them and hope they get through the next couple days. I do have relatives down there, but they say they're hanging on, so my prayers are with them, so. That's it. See everybody at the Harvest Fest. I think that's about it. We'll be back next week anyway, so.
Thank you, Councilor DeLarco. The only comment that I think I'd like to make, and I know many people have spoken on this subject on the last 2 or 3 council meetings regarding the flag, the state flag, and I've had multiple discussions with our town administrator and with our state legislators who are going to be here in council chambers on September 19th. And it will be the October 19th. And that will be the perfect opportunity for the councilors, each and every councilor, to express their views to the legislative body, as well as any resident that would like to come that night, make a comment. They're more than welcome to make a comment. But I think, because ultimately it is their decision, and it is in the works. But I think they're the right people to be answering the questions, because really, we don't have the answers to the questions, and we will not be making those decisions. But we are able to get those people in front of us to ask those questions. So that's how I foresee that going forward. Last item on the agenda is there is a need for executive session. I do have to recuse myself from this executive session because of the content, so I will turn the gavel over to Councilor DeLarco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We will be going to an executive session. Need a motion on considering the purchase and exchange of lease or value of the real estate property, because an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body on Schmidt's Farm, on Prospect Street. We will not come back into open session. Clerk, may you read the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. This is a motion to enter into executive session for the consider of purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, because an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on negotiating positions of the public body in regards to Smith Farm and Prospect Street. It's a roll call vote.
Second.
Roll call vote. Clerk will read the roll.
Cormier Ledger?
Yes.
Sheridan?
Yes.
Chandler?
Yes.
Frangillo?
Yes.
Pellegri?
Yes.
Hamblin?
Yes.
Jones, yes. Vice Chair?
Yes.
Chair is
Motion
Abstaining.
passes